you guys a lovely little reading. So if you feel called, feel free to hang out. It's a beautiful summer day. So yeah, I don't know. I'm just feeling cool, calm, collected, and just enjoying the natural wonders of summer. Just really embracing like having feet on the earth, really focusing on the sunshine on my face, the wind in my hair. And you might be in that space too, but I really think it's a good reminder to appreciate the greenery around you, to appreciate all this goodness that's in your life, even if you don't feel like there's a lot. Even the breath in your lungs, that can be a really powerful, potent thing to focus on. So yeah, and with that too, I was having a conversation with a friend earlier where we worked with the Divine Feminine Oracle because I just felt called to work with all of the goddesses that are encompassed within this deck. Very comprehensive for, I think it's around 50 goddesses and like influential women throughout history. So yeah, I just feel like we need to bring that energy into this today as well. So I apologize if you can't hear me that well. I am going to be getting a mic here soon that connects with my phone properly. I'm also looking at other updates and technology and things, so bear with me. But until then, I figured this might be a good place to start. So yeah, angels, spirit guides, ascended masters, higher self, anyone that is here for our highest good and the good of all, please help my collective with this reading and make it the most accurate and loving that it can be for them at this time. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Sorry, I just wanted some airtime, I guess. So, alright, goddesses, I want to do another shuffle, sorry. We're just getting real technical today. Nope, I can shuffle properly. Okay, alright. What? Vajrayogini. I hope I'm pronouncing this right. The essence of all Buddhas. I have the power to make I have the power to make each moment sacred. Everything is material for my liberation. So, very cool. Very cool goddess to come through. Goddess of Buddhas, that's incredible. Like, like sacred flame comes up, but there's also like, I don't know if you can really see them, but there's like this motif of like a skull crown, skulls on her hip, all these different things, and the symbolism involved. And it's just like this beautiful fluidity of movement that comes from her. Like, nothing is stagnant, nothing is stuck, nothing is falsified. She's here to burn everything that no longer works in your life, is what I kind of get. And I have the power to make each moment sacred. It's like this exchange of energy in terms of like what you contribute and what the universe contributes back. To me, it feels very fluid, very, very full of fire and movement involved with this card. If I need to, I might rely on the guidebook, just because like this guidebook is so comprehensive. It has like four pages dedicated to like each goddess within, so it's like it's really interesting to dive into like their origin story, but also the messaging behind the card. So I will reach out, like if there's goddesses I don't know, such as her, I will definitely dive in. But I think for right now, like we just need to hold this as at present. And the other one I've been thinking about on and off all day today has been Joan of Arc, the warrior of light. I have a steel-like faith in myself. The angels armor me with conviction. And to me, I have to say that like Joan of Arc, she feels to me like an ascended master nowadays. Like I know everyone's like, oh, like she's just like a monumental figure within history to be able to, you know, fight for what's right, what she believed in with the French revolutions and everything else. I need to brush up on her history actually, just to make sure I have a full understanding. But between these two cards, fluidity and action, standing up for what's right unapologetically, like to me this is very like we're kind of getting the story here of like whatever's going on in your world right now, like you need to understand that like there is reciprocity between the actions you take within your life and what the universe brings back towards your manifestations and your goals and your dreams and all these different things. But like Joan of Arc to me is such a historical figure in a successful way. I do apologize. I feel like I still have a lot of throat chakra stuff I'm working on, but bear with me. But yeah, Joan of Arc is very like steadfast and like go forward unapologetically, and same with her, with Vajrayogini. Sorry, the more I commit it to memory, the easier it is. But both of these cards speak to liberation through action. And with Joan of Arc 2 coming up, it's the Warrior of Light is also like the symbolism of the armor with the mix of the like esoteric, like with the mix of, you know, higher beings. Like you are ultimately protected as you move forward. Like there is no reason to fear, there's no reason to judge yourself or anybody else. Like you're allowed to keep what is important to you sacred and keep it close to your chest at this time. But like when action is encouraged, like do not be fearful of going forward. That's what this is kind of speaking to. And I feel like there's one more. I'll see if there's one more goddess that wishes to come through. Yeah, okay. Alright. Lalita, the red goddess. Playfulness is a spiritual power. Laughter leads me back to the light. There's a bunch of butterflies in the air, bow and arrow. Like, yeah, very much sunshine. Like, you don't have to be all rough and tough in order to accomplish what you're after. Like, yes, these are very much like stone cold, like get it done. Like it's very to me this feels serious, but like this is spirit giving you permission to be like, no, like you can enjoy this process as well. You don't have to be up in arms all the time because spirit is like working with you. I mean, yes, like obviously do your spiritual protections. I'm writing a Substack about that right now regarding like the sword and shield, and I will bring that up too. The sword to me is like symbolic of action. Like it's how you maneuver, it's how you parry, it's how you handle a situation and what you do within that, the fluidity of that. It's the offense, if you will. It's the, you know, the motion. Whereas the armor is your defense. That is your, you know, sacred ability to protect oneself in times of danger. And so having a strong practice that embodies both, that acknowledges both, that you're able to fully embrace and know that you are a warrior at heart, it will lead you well in life, and it will allow you to embrace the fiery nature within. But you can do it in a fun way. You can access hobbies that you wouldn't necessarily like think of before, but now you're like, oh, like I could check that out. Like that seems interesting. And like just allowing yourself to play within this experience and like trying to understand a bit more about like how you operate when you do decide to take charge. How do you operate when you don't take no for an answer? How do you operate in this space of sacred autonomy that you are here to continue cultivating? And this plane, we're having a lot of spray planes come through to spray the fields. So if you hear that, that's what's going on. But it could mean like forward movement. Like it's very fast. It's very quick paced. I also think like it's also symbolic of like, you know, something that you've been wishing for coming in quickly. That could help with the timeline if you're interested. But it comes once you embrace this fieriness within and the acknowledgement that you are the warrior. Joan of Arc is there to help you. Vajrayogini is also there, and so is Lalita. These three goddesses are there to help support you at this time. That's why they're coming through. Like to me, this is one of my most sacred decks in my arsenal of cards, because I use this deck sparingly because I know the messaging within here is so potent and so absolutely like in depth, and these goddesses, they don't play around. Like they're very much here. They're supporting you on the other side. They are totally a girl's girl. It's just like, but they're not gonna put up with the excuses that you've been, you know, living in for so long. Like they are the ones that are wanting that forward action, and they expect you to embrace it. And I think even being here, having this conversation right now, like proves that you are working on that, and it proves that like you are taking action. And I hope this like helps point the needle a little bit in a further direction. But yeah, they're here. Like you just need to call them in and ask. Like, they are so around, and I think these three in particular, yeah, go for it. And really focus up on like the motifs of war. Focus on, there's just so much potent symbolism within that. I personally have felt such a call to fantasy and folklore, and getting back to my origins, like, it's been a huge step in that regard. So I feel like for yourself, like, this is a good time to look back in history. Like, it feels more collective on that scale, like, you know, because when you understand the collective, you understand the history, you're able to avoid repeating it, as the quote loosely goes, but also how it can help you continue with your sacred autonomy, which is a huge step in terms of your overall ability of spiritual growth. So yeah, that's that. Okay, and it also felt called within this reading to do some animal oracle cards as well. So I will just keep, I have to keep these guys there. Okay, so yeah, I really felt called. We have fox on the bottom, but I want to see what they have to say. Yeah, like, take a big breath if you need to. I know sometimes I do when it comes to spiritual work. It's always good to focus on breath regulation, tapping in, all of that. Yeah, so Spirit, what animals? That one needs to come out. Sorry. I just want to make sure these cards don't blow away either. So that wouldn't be very fun. I don't need to run across the lawn for that. Okay. That one. I think one more. Yeah, okay. Thank you, Spirit. Okay, I'll let that down. Oh, surprise. JK, there's one more. Okay, I'll set these guys right in here. So, in terms of the second half of this reading, we have a few. Okay. We're gonna save these two for later. Sorry, I swear I didn't see them. But okay, we have Crow Spirit. Yeah, Crow Spirit. We got Snake Spirit. And we have Lamb Spirit. So when I look at all these cards with you know, the context of the theming that we just spoke about with the goddesses, I'm getting a rebirth here, like, very strongly, between the crow and the snake, and the lamb being the final embodiment of that. Like, to me, this shows like a very clear pathway of a timeline for you. Like, the crow represents like the death element coming in, represents Hecate, represents goddesses of like a darker nature, Nyx, Lilith, who else was I just thinking of? A little bit of Isis, Aphrodite. Not Aphrodite, but she might be significant for you. I can see your face. Persephone was the one I was thinking of. But it's interesting because with Persephone, she embodies kind of both, like the rebirth and the death in one. So between those goddesses, I would definitely like take a deeper dive on that. There's also some more goddesses within this deck I should mention as well, but the names are kind of escaping me. But yeah, there's a lot of theming around this death and rebirth, but it starts with the crow. The crow is so knowledgeable and observant and social. They remember faces. They are extremely intelligent, like the raven. The raven is like a massive iteration of a crow, where they're the real masterminds, truly. And they're quite powerful. Like, so to me, they go hand in hand between the crow and the raven. The raven is huge, like genuinely huge. Excuse me. The difference to tell is in their call, where the raven will give like a gronk, and the crows will do a caw. So that's how you, like, some quick differentiations if you're like ever confused. But with the crow, I associate with this rebirth and this support from the other side. Like, what you think is the end of the world is actually just the beginning. Like, the beginning of that process that you're undertaking right now to become fresh and new again. And I think it's in terms of like one of your goals. But it starts with deep inner transformation, deep inner work, and that is done through the snake, which is obviously the shedding of old skin to have the new. Yeah, it feels very potent. Like, I'm just trying to gather, like, what knowledge the crow and the snake are really embodying here. Like, the color of this, like, orb really comes in. Like, I think of the earth, I think of the cosmic egg, I think of, like, going within and understanding, like, the potency that is your soul within you. Like, that to me is, like, that never changes. That's always, it might shift colors and do all these fun things, but, like, at the heart of it, it's like the crow knows internally through this intuition that your soul receives and embodies that, like, this is all going according to plan. Like, this was meant to happen at this time. And for you, it might feel like you're scrambling, or you might feel like you've finally learned how to let go and surrender. And now it's just the timing of the actual process of shedding with the snake. And I always think of Ouroboros, which is also symbolic here. Ouroboros is this symbol of, like, the snake eating itself, the dragon eating itself, symbolizing this eternal nature. And that is what the death and rebirth cycle is about, right? Like, it's about eating your own tail. It's about shedding what no longer works. It's about finally releasing the parts of yourself that you're like, I am so sick of this. It does not need to be in my field anymore. It doesn't need to be a part of my vocabulary. It doesn't need to be a part of my life in any way, shape, or form. And I know that with last year being the year of the yin wood snake in Chinese astrology, there was a lot of shedding done for a lot of us. Like, no one went unscathed in that regard. Like, we all had to let go of things we didn't think would ever leave. And now we're entering the new phase, the lamb. The lamb is symbolic of, like, new life, youth. It's such a stark contrast between the dark and now the light that has come from this experience. Like, this is such a beautiful way of saying, like, you don't have to fear what's coming next. And that's what's been coming through this whole time, is like, you do not have to fear the shedding. You have already been through the worst of it. You are in, like, the tail end get it, the tail end of this shedding process. Yeah, because it feels like this part has been a long time in the making. We're nearing the end of this bit to reach this light, this sunshine, with the lamb being fresh and new and clean and pure and all these funny words. But, like, it's to symbolize that process within you, to present yourself in a way that aligns with who you are now, not who you were in the past, not who people saw you as, not the box they put you in, not anything that you picked up along the way that you no longer resonate with, not any habits, not any old beliefs, not any old fears, none of that. It's staying there. Like, you have this fear of it coming up, and there might be triggers, there might be, you know, the universe testing you a bit during this shedding phase where you're like, I thought I dealt with this, but it's the universe being like, are you going to go back? You've said this, you're not going to do this anymore. Are you actually going to do that, or are you not? Are you going to sink back into that fear, into that old programming, into that old belief system? What are you going to do about it? So the universe goes, let's see what they do. Your spirit team, all of it. So with this case, like, the light is at the end of the tunnel. There is positive on the other side of this. The darkness does not have to mean negativity. I think it's a very necessary part of life, even when we don't agree. But you've understood that lesson. That one has been a long time coming and gone. But this is like the final round. It genuinely feels like it's near the end and like you're about to start fresh again. It's like, you know, being elderly and finally passing away, and like in old age, and then all of a sudden you've decided, your soul has decided to come back anew. And that is what's going on right now in a more metaphysical terminology, like scenario. Yeah. And I feel like I'm hunching over a lot because there's like this protection that needs to happen as well as you're undergoing this. Again, relating to the armor, it's about crafting these spiritual protections as well. But you're getting there. Like, you're reaching the end and you're reaching this light. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. And you have those goddesses to call upon you as well, like I said. Now, okay, the last two, fire ant and buffalo. That's cool. These are such cool cards. Like, look at that. Oh, so good. So, okay. And I love this color combination, like between this like red, purple, pink going on and like the yellow, orange in there. Very striking. Like, that's really cool. So both are like, I don't know, to me they feel more like earth related, but the fire ant is obviously in the element of fire, and then the buffalo is the element of earth, as it says up here with these cute little symbols which mean the elements. So with fire ant meaning fire and buffalo coming in, even with the electricity that's coming from this like lightning that's here, like you kind of see it stringing along, it feels like there's, again, that fast movement is coming in once you complete this process and you're like fresh again. But there's this energy of like needing to hit the ground running. Like to me it's like, but you're going in such a way that it's like it's all grounded. You've integrated the lessons fully. And that's the other part of that life and birth and death, life, rebirth process, is that. So yeah, like the process is the integration. The test is the final test. The leap after this, when you've become anew and fresh again to the world, there's going to be so many people that are coming into your life that are going to want to help you. And I also see this card like generally as like collaboration, as community, as like forward movement, because it's just, ants are always active, like they're always just going about it, and they leap on the opportunity if there's prey about, right? Like they don't they do not make it a pleasant time, and they don't ask for permission, they just do, right? Like that is base survival 101. That, just like fire too, like it's not controllable all the time, it's not something that asks for permission to exist, it just does. And that's like the way you need to go about this when you enter these communities, is like you can be the fearless leader, you can be grounded and fearless at the same time. You can be automatically stepping into your power, into this like innate nature that's within you, and still be within this like grounded state. And when I see the buffalo as well, it really feels like leadership to me. Like they roamed the prairies for thousands of years, and they were also a group animal. Like they were also like, you know, all of that, and they moved with the wind and the seasons, and like they were a life source for so many tribes. And we won't talk about what happened after that, but like when the Aboriginal people, when they hunted, they would use like these buffalo jumps, which were essentially like cliff faces, and they would drive the buffalo, however many they needed, they would drive them over the cliff edge, and to basically, you know, crack them open and harvest. But it was done, it wasn't, you know, they weren't picking off babies, they weren't like, there was such a rush from this. Like again, that was a very quick action, but also planned, also within community, within them as a tribe, but it was to help preserve their future as well. And the reciprocity that comes from the buffalo accepting their demise, and the people that benefit from that, like it's not something that was ever held lightly. The buffalo has meant a lot for a lot of people. And the other part of that story is that when the buffalo were done, there were people at the bottom that waited, and when they harvested, they used every single part of that animal that they could. Very little was left behind. They would use the hide for warmth as blankets and clothing. They would use the horns to create chalices, and they would use them for there's like a whole bunch of things they would use them for. And like, you know, obviously the meat was turned into jerky, which was basically a form of like, you know, just like letting it sit over a fire and be smoked, and then it's like it's preserved, but it's still very healthy and good for you. But these are just examples of like what the buffalo's usage was, and I feel like you can take that into account for yourself and know that you have all these skill sets within you as well, that the fire ants can distribute, that you can distribute outwards and be and show your skill sets. Like that's a really cool way of looking at it. It's like there are all these parts within you that operate in different things and do different things and have different purposes, not only for the operation of your being to keep your body going, But even after death, like, there's so much that the universe uses it for, like this energy. And when you share your gifts and talents while living, that is helping this reciprocity at play as well. It doesn't just have to mean after death. It doesn't mean that the death of who you once were was for nothing. It means that it was a cyclical process, but moreover, it means that your lessons and your trials and tribulations were not for nothing. Like, Spirit fully acknowledges that, and they are utilizing that. You are utilizing it in your current state, in your current lessons that you're here to learn, because we're constantly learning. But I think that's a really powerful way to look at this, is that, like, even in death, there is still purpose. Even in death, there is still use, just not in the ways that you would expect, not in the ways that you would deem important. Not that there is ever a need for necessity of this, or finding that there has to be this big grand purpose in life, as, you know, capitalism loves to indoctrinate. You are here to exist just as you are, but you can share your talents. You can share that with your community and feel safe within that, because you're coming from this grounded place of wisdom. You are coming from this place of learned wisdom, because you have been through the experiences, you have been through the hardships to earn this knowledge, to be able to share with others. And they're ready for it. They are hankering for it. They are eager for the messages that you have in play. So know that it was not for nothing. Spirit acknowledges that totally. And sorry, I'm getting choked up, because it's just like, it's such a hard thing to acknowledge, because you think you just need to keep going, but like, acknowledgement is half the battle. And I think if we can continue on this work and like know that we're here for more, it's only going to expand. It's only going to help you more. So that is the message I have for you today. Thank you so much for being here. Just looking at all these cards is just such a powerful statement. Go forward and prosper. That's what you need to do. As this card has been poking out, the world is your oyster. Don't forget it. Okay? All right. Be good. Have fun. I love you all. Thank you so much for being here, and we'll catch you in the next one.